And this is my week 4 journal entry. You know, this course, this theories on creativity and innovation brought up a lot of ideas about what is creativity, and there's some quotes that I found here on the internet that might be kind of related here. Being that I'm from Los Alamos, of course, I had to use Albert Einstein quite a bit, but here's one of them. It says, "The secret to creativity is knowing how to hide your source." I thought this was kind of funny. Just generally that the idea of keeping something secret in order to attain, value from that. Also, this one I really like. It's creativity is messy, and I'm very creative, which I agree with absolutely. I'm a very messy person. Also, this one was kind of interesting. Everyone has talent. What is rare is the courage to follow the talent to the dark place where it leads. Ooh, kind of spooky, but I don't know. I would say that that's true. A lot of artistic things kind of bring you to sort of areas that you wouldn't normally tread within your own psyche. And then also this one here by Emily Dickinson. The soul should always stand ajar, ready to welcome the ecstatic experience. It's very telling. Another one from Albert Einstein, creativity is intelligence having fun. I would agree with this quite a bit. I think that most intelligent people are very creative. And then from Arthur Koestler, creativity is a type of learning process where the teacher and pupil reside in the same individual. I subscribe to this quite a bit. I think that I have the capacity to and have done many training exercises, and I'm very comfortable in an instructional role myself. But really the creative process is kind of this, at least for me, it's kind of this back and forth, sort of evaluative state that I'm constantly in, in general, that I thought really like that quote as well. Another one by Albert Einstein, creativity is contagious, pass it on. I would definitely say that once you start, getting one person involved in creative practices, other people around them want to do the same. And creative thinking may mean simply the realization that there's no particular virtue in doing things the way that they've always been done. Absolutely, I think that this course really talks a lot about that the whole idea of innovation is to do something different, and to think outside of the box, that sort of thing. Also, another one by Albert Einstein, in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. And yeah, the hardest things to accomplish are often the best, that have the best results. And then we have creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep. Definitely kind of picking out the ones that are the most successful, and moving forward with those is a big theme that we've learned here in this course. Generally that my realization, or my personal sort of realizations that I've come to in this course is kind of this theme where, neither courage nor superiority are welcome at the artist's table. Kind of this idea that, that really you just need to start doing and stop thinking about if what you're producing is the best, because it's a process, and you can't have the best come right out of the gate. It's something that you need to build on. And in that respect as well, that creativity is messy, frustrating, and tiresome. Definitely, this sort of process of rediscovering my creativity in a way has been a journey, and I definitely will continue doing it. Of course, I enjoy it so much. I think that originally my idea of getting into this program was with the understanding that being conceptually creative and innovative in business is required in order to survive in the business world, and that so many businesses do recognize this, but they are not very good at accomplishing or being creative as part of the culture. So kind of going through this program the idea was to gain some sort of understanding about what formal processes might need to take place, or more or less to prepare myself for that business plan. So, in general, that it has one thing that I've really gained from this particular course is that reaffirmation of just how creative I am, and that it's okay that it's not perfect, and those sorts of things. So, but generally, the last one here is also that the greatest beauty is often constructed from disorganized piles of rubble. Kind of that same concept that it really needs to start somewhere, and you might, let's say a potter might make, several iterations of the same pot, that this new dishware that they're making, let's say, and many of them might not come out right, and they might break them, or they might become broken in the kiln, or whatever. But the idea that from your mistakes that you really learn and improve. As far as the peer review was concerned, I think that it was very useful to go through this process. I'm consistently surprised at how most people think the creative process is independent, or is required that most of it needs to be independent, or just in general that when you are innovating or owning your own business, that you need to do all the work. So I think that it was, even though we talked a lot about that you need to find other people that have strengths and weaknesses, or to have strengths that kind of play well with your weaknesses or augment your weaknesses. Going through and actually doing this exercise, I think, was very useful in helping to expose, or to really show that value. For me, I've always been collaborative and in that sense, but I think that the others have definitely taken a lot back from this, and I hope that they'll not be too offended by the ideas that I came up with. I hoped that, or I found previously and also again this time, that expressing like the items that I felt like weren't that great in my own flaws, was a good icebreaker to kind of get everyone comfortable with the idea of constructive criticism, and that because a lot of people do relate feedback to reprimand. I know I've done that myself when I'm, positions that I've held before where there's been a boss over me. There's kind of this, general idea that why are you judging me? There must be something wrong with whatever it is, and therefore my product or what I produce is wrong. And so, the being comfortable with that feedback, I think, is really important in not only owning your own business, but also going through the innovative process. Also, the discussion question that we had, definitely all about perspectives, again, playing off of that peer review. I think that was, a very constructive, way to kind of explain, I hope, that the value of doing that collaboration or that discussion can be used moving forward in that manner. That it's really all about different perspectives on the same exercise or question or topic. But also, I hope that, and I think that I'm at fault for this quite a bit when it comes to being agreeable. I absolutely feel that being agreeable is not very constructive, and that I'd really rather have passionate conflict or debate. Of course, that everybody, should be respectful of each other, that, we shouldn't be screaming and yelling and, being destructive, but definitely, it's much more satisfying to have a sort of a passionate debate about something than just always saying, oh yeah, I agree with that. So, I hope to see that more of that constructive criticism with the continuing courses. Also, as far as the final paper was concerned, it was satisfying to kind of pull everything together, kind of come to some conclusions, or reaffirm some beliefs that I've had previously in a more constructed, structured way. The particular idea that I've had, I feel, kind of bolstered in this research with innovation process, is that it feels like that the concept of innovation versus radicalism, or radical innovation versus incremental innovation, rather, is often a matter of perspective in marketing. That the invention of any of the major sort of inventions that happened in the 20th century, like, toaster, automobile, light bulb, computer technology, telephones, any of those sorts of things, that we have, those quote-unquote household items that we have, at the time, when they were being developed, not everybody thought that they were going to be all that great. I mean, the idea of a telephone in your house was actually quite, slow in some, sort of concepts. I mean, I know that there was some quotes where I saw that there was something like 2 million telephones by the 1920s or something like that across the world. But the idea that the telephone actually, when you did have one, which many people did have one and quite quickly, the idea, that it was attached to the wall and that you wouldn't call in and chat, that you would only be talking business, you wouldn't, that it was the concept of like the younger generation, this idea of calling and chatting, why not just go over and see them? The older generation had a very different concept about the usefulness of the product. So, that's why I think that it took, because the culture change that was required, why it took so long, relatively speaking, to adopt those technologies. However, we are seeing that, and have seen, many people have talked about the whole the thing where technology advances so quickly now that we're, as a culture, more and more used to change. So it really just helps us to adapt to it, I think, in reality. But the effect as well is that things that might have been perceived as outlandish and radical back in the day are really not perceived that way anymore. They're perceived more as incremental innovation. And this kind of idea as well about slow ideas, slow money, it's becoming more and more common because this sort of measured success, this sort of process that you go through, it's more of a standard. And I think it's just because there's so much that has already been done, and that information, that innovation that has already been done over the past, hundreds or thousands of years is so complex in its own right that it's often difficult to perceive anything as radical, because there's so much that people know about the world, and, in general, that the final paper really kind of helped to put all that together for me. And then, just a thank you for the wonderful course and the opportunity, and I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and you have a wonderful weekend.